Hey there, comic fans! Welcome back to Comic Yahud. Today we're diving into Chapter 8 of Tintin and the King Ottokar Sceptre. Let's get started. As they pass through the castle gates, Tintin and King observe the serene environment, hoping they have arrived in time. Tintin's earnest hope echoes in his words, while King reassures him of their timely arrival. The king frantically inquires about Professor Alembic's whereabouts, and a guard responds, revealing that Alembic is in the treasure chamber. The mention of the governor of the castle and Herr Czarlitz intensifies the situation, amplifying Tintin's concern. Determined, Tintin and the king rush to the chamber door, demanding entry in the king's name. The weight of the moment presses upon them, as they hope to prevent any impending disaster. With no response from inside, the king urgently requests the other keys, fearing time is slipping away. Tintin's heart pounds as they await the keys, the seconds feeling like hours in their desperate race against time. Tintin and the king exchange worried glances as they anxiously await the guard with the keys, their hopes pinned on preventing a disaster. The king's reassurance does little to calm their nerves, but they brace for what lies beyond the door. As they burst into the treasure chamber, a shocking sight meets Tintin's eyes. Guards and Alembic's accomplice lie unconscious on the floor, the scepter's pedestal ominously empty. Confusion and dread ripple through the group as they try to make sense of the chaotic scene. The next morning, the king, with a hint of frustration, inquires about the scepter's recovery, while the Lord Chamberlain reassures him of the detective's imminent arrival. Tintin listens intently, knowing that the search for the scepter has only just begun. The sudden crash echoes through the room as the king looks up, startled by the noise. Tintin and the king exchange knowing glances, realizing the detectives have arrived, and the king instructs them to investigate. They find Thomson and Thompson sitting awkwardly on the floor, having slipped in their haste. Stammering, they introduce themselves as detectives, trying to explain their clumsy entrance with a touch of embarrassment. As they regain their composure, the king greets them warmly, welcoming them to Sildavia. Despite their flustered introduction, the detectives attempt to address the king respectfully, their words tangling in nervousness. The king expresses gratitude to the detectives for their swift response, introducing Tintin as the key person who will provide them with the necessary details. Thomson and Thompson, taken aback by the revelation, express their surprise at seeing Tintin involved in the case. Tintin explains the grave situation, revealing that the king's scepter has been stolen and describing the unsettling discovery of unconscious people in the treasure chamber. The detectives quickly inquire whether these individuals have been questioned, eager to piece together the mystery. Tintin confirms the questioning, explaining that all accounts align, with the photographer's flash causing a smoke-filled room and subsequent unconsciousness. Thompson, pondering the situation, raises the crucial question of whether the incapacitated individuals were searched, hinting at a possible oversight. Tintin explains to the detectives how every potential hiding place for the scepter was meticulously searched, yet nothing was found, adding to the bewilderment of the situation. The detectives listen with growing intrigue, realizing the complexity as the guards reported no one leaving the room. With confidence, a military officer suggests to the king that they visit Krakow Castle to demonstrate how the scepter was stolen, treating the situation with almost dismissive ease. Tintin stands nearby, observing the bold claim with interest, as Thomson and Thompson exchange glances, ready to learn more. The king agrees to the plan, and they all prepare to depart, with one detective expressing admiration for the officer's confidence. Tintin, joined by the detectives and Snowy, follows the king, eager to uncover the method behind the theft. As the king warns them about the slippery marble floor, Thomson and Thompson find themselves tumbling comically, hats and canes flying. Tintin and Snowy watch in mild disbelief, while the officer maintains his composed stride. Arriving at the treasure chamber, the king explains the scepter's previous location with a gesture. The detectives, recovering from their fall, confidently assure the king that the solution is straightforward. Thomson and Thompson recount the daring theft, describing how one conspirator feigned unconsciousness while executing the heist. They reveal the scepter's disappearance through the window, where an accomplice awaited in the courtyard. The guard firmly dismisses the detective's theory, asserting the courtyard is strictly guarded with sentries who would never betray the king. Thomson and Thompson exchange a skeptical glance, still pondering the impossible theft. Despite the guard's objections, one detective points out that a guard did hear a window open, suggesting the scepter was thrown over the ramparts to an accomplice. This explanation catches the officer off guard, as he listens intently to the unfolding theory. The guard, maintaining his composure, requests a scepter-sized object to test the detective's hypothesis. With a nod of agreement, the detective steps away, ready to find what is needed. Tintin points out the difficulty of the scepter's theft, noting the significant distance to the ramparts and the barred window, while a detective dismisses these concerns, suggesting precise aim is all that's needed. The tension between Tintin's logical approach and the detective's confidence adds to the unfolding drama. The detective, unfazed, accepted a rod that resembled a scepter from a royal guard, who handed it over with a knowing nod. Tintin watched with curiosity as the detective prepared to demonstrate his theory. With a determined stance, the detective announces his intention to prove the feasibility of the theft to the gathered crowd, including Tintin, who stands by with a mix of skepticism and intrigue. The gathered officers and guards observe closely, drawn into the demonstration's unfolding challenge. Thomson hurled the rod toward the barred window, but it clanged loudly and bounced back. To everyone's shock, it struck Thomson squarely, leaving him reeling as the plan unraveled in comic fashion. Thomson, recovering from surprise, criticizes his colleague's clumsiness, asserting that he will show the correct technique. The two detectives engage in a brief argument, each eager to prove their capability. With a confident grin, Thomson instructs everyone to watch closely as he prepares to demonstrate his own throwing skills. His determination to succeed adds a layer of tension to the already charged atmosphere. As Thomson's throw struck the barred window with a loud bang, the rod bounced back into the room and smacked straight into Thomson. The crowd gasped in astonishment, while the two detectives stood dazed by the blunder. Regaining their composure, both detectives, now sporting matching black eyes from the mishap, insisted the Sceptre couldn't have left the room that way. Tintin, still doubtful, pressed to question Alembic and Czarlitz for clearer answers. Just then, a guard rushes forward, urgently addressing the king with newfound information. Tintin and the detectives turn their attention to the guard, eager to understand this new development. The guard, visibly distressed, informs the king of an unbelievable event involving Professor Alembic and her Czarlitz. The king's face grows tense as he processes the shocking news. The guard explains that the two have escaped from the state prison with the help of accomplices among the warders, leaving everyone in disbelief. Tintin, standing nearby, is taken aback by the king's exclamation of concern for the scepter of Ottokar. The king, overwhelmed by the betrayal, laments the widespread involvement of accomplices in the escape. His dismay is palpable as he realizes the plot was meticulously planned, fearing all may be lost. Thomson and Thompson, with unwavering confidence, assure the king that they will recover the scepter no matter how long it takes, but the king expresses his deep concern. He reveals the dire consequence of having to abdicate if the scepter isn't found in 3 days for St. Vladimir's Day, leaving everyone in a state of urgency. With a historical reference, one of the detectives compares their task to Columbus's promise, vowing to retrieve the scepter in the short time left. The king, relieved by their dedication, wishes them success, his hope hanging on their shoulders. Walking with determination, Thomson and Thompson remind each other of their promise, emphasizing that their honor depends on fulfilling it. Their synchronized commitment is palpable as they stride forward, ready to tackle the monumental task ahead. Standing beside the soldier, Tintin earnestly responds to the king's hopes for success, expressing his heartfelt wish for their mission to succeed. The king, with a mixture of anxiety and hope, entrusts the detectives with their vital task, praying for St. Vladimir's guidance. Tintin, filled with resolve, requests permission to independently pursue the investigation, eager to contribute to the crucial task ahead. The king, deeply moved by Tintin's dedication, warmly thanks him, vowing never to forget his invaluable support in this dire situation. Determined to unravel the mystery, Tintin sets off with Snowy, contemplating the crucial steps needed to discover how the scepter was stolen. As they walk past a shop window, his mind races with possibilities, intent on uncovering the truth before it's too late. As Tintin strolls past a vibrant shop window filled with toys, something catches his eye, causing him to stop abruptly. His face lights up with a realization, as if a missing piece of the puzzle has suddenly clicked into place. With a newfound sense of excitement, Tintin leans closer to examine the assortment of toys, his expression indicating a crucial connection made in his mind. Suddenly, Tintin leaps into the air, shouting joyfully about his discovery, his exuberance drawing the attention of passers-by. Snowy barks happily, sharing in Tintin's triumph as they prepare to act on this pivotal breakthrough. Tintin, filled with renewed purpose, sprints with Snowy close behind, calling out to hurry back to the castle. The urgency in his voice underscores the importance of sharing his pivotal discovery. Reaching the castle gates, Tintin and Snowy dash across the drawbridge, catching the guards' attention with their haste. The guards look on in surprise as Tintin's determination pushes him forward. Inside, Tintin eagerly approaches an officer, inviting him to the treasure chamber to reveal his insight. The officer, intrigued yet cautious, questions what Tintin intends to show him. Tintin, bursting with excitement, beckons the officer to follow him quickly, eager to reveal how the scepter was stolen. His urgency propels them down the stone corridor, with the officer struggling to keep pace. Struggling to catch up, the officer calls out to Tintin, pleading for him to slow down. Despite the officer's request, Tintin's determination drives him forward, leaving the officer trailing behind. Tintin, with Snowy at his heels, dashes through the archway, leaving the guards at their posts bewildered. The guards exchange puzzled glances, their curiosity piqued by the frantic rush. Tintin, with urgency in his movements, fumbles with the lock of a grand, intricately designed door while Snowy waits eagerly beside him. A guard stands nearby, observing with curiosity as Tintin's determination shines through his focused effort. Meanwhile, Royal Guard, dressed in a vibrant ceremonial uniform adorned with a feathered hat, hurries up a staircase, his face set with purpose. The clinking of his boots on the steps echoes through the corridor as he ascends quickly. Reaching the top, the guard encounters his colleague, who confirms Tintin's entry into the chamber with a respectful nod. Their brief exchange carries a hint of unease, as if Tintin's presence has stirred a sense of urgency among them. Two guards in ornate uniforms paused, startled as they heard yelps of pain coming from inside the room. They exchanged bewildered glances, uncertain of what was happening beyond the door. Inside, a guard is shocked to find Tintin sprawled on the floor, stars circling his head, with Snowy looking on in concern. The unexpected sight leaves the guard bewildered as he tries to comprehend the situation. As Tintin rises, still dazed, the guards urgently ask him to explain what transpired. Tintin, rubbing his head, tries to gather his thoughts to relay the chaotic events that unfolded. Tintin urgently gestures towards the camera, drawing the attention of the two guards beside him. His insistence sparks their curiosity as Snowy stands alert at his feet. Tintin explains how a spring from the camera suddenly released, striking him in the face and knocking him out. The guard listens intently, eyes widening at the unexpected turn of events. Amazed by Tintin's discovery, the guard asks how he figured it out. Tintin recounts passing a toy shop and seeing a spring gun, which inspired the idea that the camera concealed a similar mechanism to launch the scepter beyond the castle walls. Tintin demonstrates to the guard how he places the spring back into the camera, explaining his plan with a makeshift stick used by the detectives. The guard watches intently, clearly impressed by Tintin's ingenuity and quick thinking. Together, Tintin and the guard position the camera by the window, carefully threading the forked end of their improvised scepter through the bars. Their teamwork is seamless as they prepare for the next crucial step in their plan. And that wraps up this chapter. If you enjoyed the story, head to the next part and be sure to like and subscribe for more adventures on Comic Yahud.